Flashy news. Only on ParanoidRadio.com, bringing you Flashy Fridays.
Tony boy.
Testicles, 1, 2, testicles. Welcome back to Paranoid Radio Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the best show with the best content for the best listeners. You, the probers, the probe nation. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I am the humble host, Trebles Garcia. This is the second dose of greatness. This is not a Fright Fest episode. This is a Flashy Friday episode. First of all, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to know that ParanoidRadio.com is back now in full effect. It's at 25% capacity, but you could stream absolutely free while the website's being built. You could stream the last 5 episodes in audio, and you could watch the most recent episodes absolutely free, unbothered, unfiltered, and unedited. Now, I want you guys to also take a 5 seconds. It takes 5 seconds to go on your phone if you have an Apple phone. And go to Apple Podcast, search out Paranoid Radio, and then drop a 5-star review on Apple Podcast. This allows other people to enjoy the show as much as I enjoy making it. Please, ladies and gentlemen, it's word of mouth. Stop being a punk. Lick it and pass it. Lick it and pass it. Let the people know Paranoid Radio Podcast is where it's at. Now, striking while the iron is fucking hot. I already started off cursing. Oh, yeah. I'm going to try not to curse this much. Some fan service to all the boomers out there and to all the listeners out there. I'm trying to curse less and be more professional for you. Now, let me jump in from the deep end of the pool and set the freaking mood. During World War II, the gods of war shifted sides on Adolf Hitler. The tables were turned, and it didn't even matter whose sides you were on. The only thing that mattered was who was more profitable. He who funds both sides of the war will never lose. And I quote, "It is the children of conservative Americans that are placed in the front lines of foreign wars." End quote. Flash. Terrorism is only defined by the ones who are being terrorized. Wars are only fought by the sons and daughters of the poor, and the money is being deposited from giant banks and taxed and filtered into your dining table and then forwarded back to those giant banks. To understand and carry us into the protection of truth, I summon my trap card for the elite warlords of every corner of this world and every Abrahamic religion. Please give a round of applause to my personal friend, a clear-spoken patriot with balls of steel and a heart of a lion, all the way from the great Empire State and Empire State of Mind, Flash, Flashy _ News 1.
Yeah, what up, everybody? Thanks for the intro,
What is
brother.
up? Dude, I had to do that shit twice with how good it was. I was over here stuttering and shit. The coffee got me running.
Trying not to curse and shit.
Fuck. Ladies and gentlemen, Flashy _ News 1. You already know where he's at. He's at Flashy _ News 1 on Instagram. His name is Flash, and he has a whole series here on Paranoid Radio Podcast called Flashy Fridays. Flash, let them know where they can find you and what you're about, bro.
Yeah, brother. I'm over on Instagram still, shadow banned, but you can find me Flashy _ News 1 on Truth Social too as a backup, Flashy _ Truths. And yeah, man, I'm just giving them hell every single day, brother.
Every single day, every night. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please check them out at ParanoidRadio.com. The links will be up by the end of this weekend. And if you cannot find them on Instagram, find them on our Instagram. I have them tagged in our bio. Now, Flash, I know you have a long message to let us know. We're just going to stick to the freaking facts. And we're going to give you guys what you guys all been emotionally feeling. A lot of people are feeling these things. A lot of people are thinking these things, but they're afraid to speak out and say them out loud. On top of that, there's a lot of things that you're going to say that are not on the mainstream media outlets. We're going to bring them here only on Paranoid Radio Podcast. Israel. Let us know what the hell is going on. Set the premise, bro.
So first of all, I want to say my thoughts, my prayers, my heart is with the Jewish people right now. My heart is also with the innocent Palestinians that are caught in the middle of this. You know, you don't have to pick a side in a war. That's the psyop. The psyop is to pick a side, right? They want us either pro-Israel or pro-Hamas, or it doesn't matter to them what side we pick, but it's even splintering our own movement. And that's concerning, you know, and it's because that's what this does. This is what the fog of war does. They get you emotional. They make you abandon your logical thinking. Right? They get you in your reptilian brain. your fight or flight, and then you're just believe, and then there's this thing inside of us, like when we get scared or afraid, we want answers, right?
Yeah.
And that's just a basic human thing. But what they do is that they got us running to the television for answers, right? Because it's 24/7, the war propaganda is on, right? So if you want a quick update of what's going on, you just turn it on, thinking like even if you're a truther, you just get sucked right back into it. I felt myself getting sucked back into it, going to
Wow.
the ministry just to see what was going on. You know what I'm saying? Like I just wanted
Yeah.
to, and then I heard him start saying 40 babies got their heads chopped off.
Okay.
And I was like, let me just pause for a second, because there's been no confirmation of that. There's been no pictures. There's been nothing of
Facts.
that. And I'm old enough to
Yes.
remember when they told us there was weapons of mass destructions in Iraq, and that Afghanis were beheading babies in Afghanistan. And oh yeah, and Assad in Syria
Yup.
was gassing his own people. This is atrocities propaganda. That's an actual term. Okay, atrocities
Wow.
propaganda. Just like, and that's just over exaggerating whatever was done, right? Not to say that Hamas isn't animals for what they did. That's besides the
Yeah.
point, right? So this is how they elicit a response from the American people, just like they did on 9/11. And it's the same exact people who were in charge in 9/11 and the intel agencies that were in charge in Israel right now. Okay, Bibi
Yeah.
Netanyahu, the same prime minister, the same Mossad. Okay, and they allowed 9/11 to happen, and we know that. Right now, people want to talk about, was Israel involved or not? Absolutely, they were. Nothing happens in this world without Mossad knowing. Mossad has a special, it's a technology that they can pretty much, this is known, this is not like a conspiracy theory, that they can pretty much backdoor into anything, into any electronic, into any phone, into anything like that. Okay, so they run
Mossad or what the fuck? Rewind.
yeah,
I didn't know this shit.
it's kind of like a
Educate me.
skeleton. It's kind of like a skeleton key, they would call it, right? They get into they can pretty much hack anything from anywhere, right? And now Mossad runs the biggest blackmail ring in the world. Who do you think Jeffrey Epstein was working for? Who do you think? What's her name? Maxwell. Ghislaine Maxwell was working for. Her father, you can look him up. He was in Mossad. He was in the media. He was killed on a boat. Okay, this is Ghislaine Maxwell's father. Okay, he was killed. He was assassinated. He was involved with Mossad. Okay, so Mossad, this is my theory, not just mine, but this is, I think, a well-accepted theory now, that Epstein was working with Mossad. He was running a blackmail thing, right? So let's not forget who we're dealing with here. Okay, we're dealing, now you think the CIA is bad. They don't got nothing on Mossad. Mossad taught the CIA what it knows. Okay,
so Mossad is Israeli technology.
It's Israeli CIA, essentially.
Yo,
okay?
I'll be honest with you. I know that Israel has elite pilots. As a matter of fact, I just found out they have even their police training. Some of the police training comes over to us. Yep. A lot of the thing goes back to like a lot, like their training is ancient training from a lot of dark. I want to call this. It's a secret society that used to choke people to death and then chop off their heads. Kind of sounds familiar to what they're doing right now out there. And then Tupac was part of their occult. I'll bring it back later as soon as I remember. But the point is, they have elite pilots in the world. Some of the most elite methods of killing in the freaking world. So that's not a fucking lie.
Everything. And not only that, we actually modeled London, England, and the United States modeled our whole way of how we make laws and follow laws. Israel really started that way back before it was even Palestine. Okay, they were really the first one.
Secret society. That's what it's called.
Oh, okay, I didn't even see that. You taught me something. I gotta check that out, because that's interesting, bro. Because this shit goes way back. So we have to remember who we're dealing with, right? And you got to look at exactly what happened. So now let's get back to modern day right now, the war, right?
Yeah.
So first of all, Hamas is backed by Iran. Everybody knows that, right?
100%.
Hamas is a terrorist organization that it pretty much took over Palestine, strong-armed it in 2007. There was an election in 2007 in Palestine. Hamas pretty much stole the election, got into power, and pretty much just stayed in power after that. So it's not like, the people are choosing Hamas. And what Hamas does is they hide their weapons inside hospitals, inside private businesses, inside private homes. So when Israel bombs them, they could be like, oh my God, you bombed a hospital. Same thing with Ukraine and Russia, right? So there's dirt on both sides, right? So Hamas is backed by Iran, right? And now what happened was they just what I said before, that Mossad hears everything. Okay, there's nothing that goes on in the world that Mossad doesn't know, because of the technology that they have, especially right next door to them. the border with Palestine. You don't think they knew this attack was coming? They must have been planning this shit for years. For years, bro. Just like 9/11. They
This
allowed
makes
the
no
hijackers
sense.
into the
Oh my God.
so now, right? So for months and months and months, they've been planning this. They didn't hear nothing. Now, Egypt, who's also next to Palestine, right? They share a border, right, on the other side. So they warned Bibi Netanyahu, who's the prime minister of Israel, they warned him that in a couple days, we're hearing chatter that something might go down, right? And then now Israel is one of the most militarized places on the world. Okay, they are the only democracy, quotation marks, and in the area that, and it's not Muslim. Okay, they are like literally a target. They are a target. Okay, so
Yeah.
that's their reasoning for being so militarized, right? So, but they, even with the border of Palestine, it's not a border; it's a gate with barbed wire. Like, it's not, you know what I mean? Like, you can't just walk freely into Israel like that. You know, so in order for these guys, so these guys got in, right? Not only did they get into the border, they flew in on paraglides, right? We got the Iron Dome. Where was the Iron Dome at? Where was all these radars? They could shoot a fucking rocket out of the sky, but they can't get
Shoot a little human
paraglider. A dude on a little go-kart paraglider, bro. Like, it was like a homemade, like, ghetto ass fucking, like, the Bronx, New York fucking paraglider, bro. Like, that's what it was. And like, you can't tell me that all of a sudden, on a very holy day, which actually there was a war started 7 years
50
ago.
years ago.
So it's a holy day for them, right?
Yeah.
And then they get in there. And then where was their army when this was going down? It was like 6 hours. Yeah. Nobody came to help these people. They ran rampage through. Okay, so this is another example of, and then we're funding both sides of the war ourselves.
Coincidentally, yes. Coincidentally, you have Biden making the worst trade deal next to the fucking trade deal they did with Russia, giving out the Merchant of Death back. That doesn't compare to this. And then we pulled out of Iran. We left 84. You said this shit. $84 billion worth of shit in there, right? And now that Afghanistan. Now, you think these motherfuckers don't talk to each other? Come on. This is all fucking modern warfare, dog. So 100%. These guys come, they receive $6 billion, and they assume, they're saying allegedly that they're frozen accounts because they're only meant to be used for fucking money and for fucking gender studies and whatever. Fucking wankers. I don't believe it. Bunch of bullshit, because they know damn right they have the backdoor to these bank accounts, and these bank accounts, all they want to do is get interest off of it. And that's how I started the conversation. We are funding both sides of the war. Now you even have the freaking rumors, and there's people reporting. This is the light little research I made, that the Ukraine is receiving free fucking funding from the United States of America, and then selling all the B-51 bombers, tanks, and they're selling it back to Pakistan. No, not Pakistan, the Palestinians, Hamas, and they're transferring them from Egypt to Hamas. So this is wild, dog. This is wild. Ukraine making double the bounty profit.
100%, bro. And now it's just and there's so many moving parts, like why this war is going on in the history between Israel and Palestine. And, there's arguments on both sides. There's been atrocities committed on both sides. The Palestinian people feel like they live in an open air prison that's occupied, and that every move of theirs is watched and they're surveilled. And that's all true. But, when, who has right to that land, it's still really up in the air, because really before it was Palestine, the Jews had it. Moses went over there, and then they went in there. Like, it's biblical. Like, they had a right to that. And then after the Ottoman Empire fell, I think it was World War I, that's when everything got displaced, and then Islam pretty much took over that whole region, right? And then after World War II, they sent the Jews back to Palestine. England pretty much made like an agreement, I guess. They pretty much strong-armed it, forced Palestine to take the Jews back, and then they made the border, and then the Jews prospered, and Palestinians did it. So and then now there's the excuse of terrorist attacks, and then we only really see one side of it,
bro. But you know what? And this goes back to that. And I'm not taking any fucking sides, but this is historical, dog. This is man wrote this down. It's known. If you know your history, the Crusades war for Jerusalem. This were the Crusades back when the Holy Roman Catholic Church was in power globally. They went into Jerusalem, fighting for Jerusalem, killing the Muslims where it belonged to the Muslims. So look, bro, and you would not look at the end of the day. You also know that the only things that are being televised are the ones that are in power, the people that have the most profits and the most money invested in any type of democracy. And I'm using democracy with big ass quotation marks, technology, gender studies. You know what I'm saying? And also fake Jews. I am not a Zionist. Trebles Garcia from Paranoid Radio Podcast said this, but I'm gonna be honest with you, dude. I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. This is not an anti-Semitic remark. I love all types of people. I have Jewish friends. I have Jewish customers that come to the warehouse every single time. But let's face it, the elite Jews, there's some elite Jews that are claiming to be Jews that take advantage of the system just so that they could get some profit margins.
The Kazakhstani mafia, the Kazakhstani mafia. That's they hide behind the veil of their Jewish faith. But it's like Soros isn't a Jew. You know what I mean? Like he acts like he is, and you can't talk shit about him because he say you're anti-Semitic. Meanwhile, he actually worked with the Nazis to steal fucking jewelry from the Jews. You know what I mean? So everything. Wow. But it's like there's still so many moving parts to the war, like what it's really about. But what it really is too is that you got to look at what was going on in Israel. You remember all the protesting that was going on in Israel the last couple months because of the right-wing government there. They really
explain it to me.
It was so like the last couple weeks, you could look it up, months even. There's been like hundreds of thousands of Jewish people protesting in the streets because Benjamin Netanyahu, who is a conservative leader, you would call him, has been in power for a really long time. He wanted to change the Supreme Court, how the judicial system works in Israel, and people thought it was anti-democratic. And he really got a lot of pushback for it. There was, riots in the streets. There was like protesting. And, it was a very divided government in Israel. So, Bibi Netanyahu, he's pretty much the head of the Kazakhstani mafia, essentially, right now. The prime minister of Israel. So, now when there's a war, all that goes away. Now they just formed a unified government, wartime government. There is no opposition party. It's consolidated power into one man, the prime minister of Israel.
Sounds very, the
same guy that was in charge of the intelligence community, Mossad. Mossad has its own director, but it's all through the prime minister, and he runs everything, right? So you're trying to tell me that they didn't allow this to happen in order to start a war in Iran, which is exactly what 9/11 was allowed to happen for in order to start a war in the Middle East. We invaded Iraq for no reason. They had nothing to do with 9/11. We lied and said that there was weapons of mass destruction there just so that we can garner enough support in the public to do that, right? And in order to do that, they had to say that they were killing babies and all this too. Now, that's not to say babies didn't die. I'm not saying what Hamas did is excusable. They're a terrorist organization. I'm just talking about the fog of war, wartime propaganda, atrocity propaganda, because those are all real things, right? And that's not to say that bad things didn't happen, but we just have to try and just everything is on TV is so visceral.
You know what? Yeah, it's fear. It's screaming. I mean, I'm not saying I'm not a screamer, but god damn it, dude, Gina, dude, these guys are all there are, and all I hear is ex-Palestine. So they're putting a real dark, shadowy cloud over Palestine and the Palestinians and the government and Hamas. And it seems like the only positive propaganda being told out there, the only part of the story being told out there is the Israeli part of the story. No one's ever talking about all the...
Who do you think runs the media? Mossad.
Bam. And it's fucking funny because no one is mentioning a couple years ago how Israel is also having military operations on Palestinian territory, and no one reported about that. No one fucking said anything about that.
All the time. And you want to blame Hamas is because of that. They're a terrorist organization, but Mossad created them the same way the CIA and Obama created this fucking Al Qaeda and ISIS. I'm sorry, ISIS.
Israel created Hamas like the U.S. created ISIS.
That's right, exactly, and it's for the same exact reasons. The boogeyman, right? So the MAGA boogeyman wasn't really working as that great, right? We were coming together. Now what? Now we got another boogeyman, Islamia, all that shit again. So it's
trying to make sure that they look. It seems almost as if at this point they're trying their hardest, maybe not only keeping Biden, because Biden's powerless, trying to keep the democratic system and the Democrats in power for a longer term until they can finish their timeline. Which I don't know what their fucking agenda is at this point, but World War III, bro, looks Very, very fucking real. I'm talking
I mean,
about
we said it was coming.
you.
You know,
You
we,
fucking mentioned this in the past 10 episodes of Flashy Friday. I'm
yep, it's
talking
coming.
about China gets ballsy with Taiwan. It's game over.
Yep.
All right. Fucking Hamas has already got ballsy with Israel, and Russia already got ballsy with fucking Ukraine. Dog,
That's
it's
yep.
everywhere. Ukraine NATO war, it's already at their fucking doorstep. Knock, knock, motherfuckers.
Europe,
Israel,
Middle East,
the Middle
boom,
East,
boom.
game over. It's a biblical fucking time. And the thing is this, I could almost already foretell that the Israeli government, the Israeli land will get fucking nuked. There's gonna be a fucking
Yeah,
bomb. Something's
yeah,
gonna
something's
happen.
good.
And maybe a
Well,
small tactical
absolutely.
bomb.
Something, because they're already setting it up. You know, now they're already. You can already tell. Now we're being set up for a terrorist attack on our soil. Something else that
How
we
does this
talked
affect
about.
us? How does this affect
So
us,
yeah,
Flash?
I mean, so it's interesting, right? So now you got all of this back and forth, Palestinian, Israel. So now we got the White House lit up as the colors of the Jewish flag. We got the Empire State Building lit up of the colors of the Jewish flag. Meanwhile, how many Palestinians you got living here? How many Muslims you got here, right? That actually are pro-Palestine, pro-terrorist attack. People in New York City, hundreds of thousands of people are marching, and hundreds, like 10,000 people at least for Palestine, more than
Yeah,
people that are for the Jewish people, right?
every
So
part of the
there's a
country.
lot more of them now than there is of anything else, and they're going to come together. So now they probably feel like we're rubbing it in their fucking faces,
Plus, you
right?
don't know who the fuck came in right now with this broken fucking welded open border Biden has.
Exactly,
We don't know
and
who the
that was
fuck
part
came
of
in.
it.
Yes,
And that's why it's open, right? So now I'm sure they're already here. We talked about the sleeper cells that are here already. We talked about that.
absolutely.
You said that there are sleeper cells all over the place. There, you got the Chinese spies, you got all these guys now, right? So I think we're being set up for that, right? And then you got the leader of Palestine just said there's going to be a jihad for the next 3 days,
Thank
and on
you.
February
Yeah.
13th. That's a real threat. You know what I mean? We're not pushing fear porn. I don't push fear porn. You know what I mean? I really don't. Like, but when the time is coming, and I said it's coming, you don't
Yeah.
know really when, but now they're telling us when. If it's going to happen that day, we really don't know, but we have to stay vigilant. We have to stay. But listen, if we get out of this psyop, like Trump is, first of all, he's giving speeches. He's dead on the mark on everything he's saying. He
He's
knows exactly what's
30%. He
going
got
on.
30 points from the Democratic Party. Democratic Party
Right, from
is
the
voting for.
Democratic Party, bro. And he
Thank
gave
you.
a speech. Listen to this shit. So he gave a speech yesterday, right, about what's going on with Israel. He brought it up about all this shit. He was like, you know what? And I don't know. It's crazy that he even told this story, bro, because it's probably classified information, right? So when he killed Soleimani, the leader of Al Qaeda or whatever one of those,
I
and
remember
it
that.
was like a big deal. Like, we shouldn't have done it. Oh my god, like whatever. And he was like the biggest. He like killed like tens of thousands of soldiers because he came up with the dirty bombs and like how to do like side road bombs, like that shit, right? So Trump said that he was working with Israel to kill this guy, so Soleimani. He's literally. I'm literally saying what he's saying. He was saying in the speech. So he's like, me and Israel, we were working together to get this guy Soleimani, right? And they were working together for months. They said back and forth with Bibi Netanyahu, the prime minister now, right? With him, they had a good relationship. He said, and he said right up until the day before they were going to take this guy out, Israel pulled out. Bibi
Why?
said exactly why, and then why would Israel want to pull out when that's really their ass over there? They're the ones who live right next door to them. We don't. We're just trying to help you out, really. You know what I mean? When it comes down to it. And why would Trump bring this up at this moment, though, right? And he said, I thought it was weird. He was like, why would Israel, why would Bibi, he named him by name, the prime minister now. He said, why would he pull out the night before? And then so he said, my general came up to me and said, sir, Israelis out. And then Trump said, well, can we go through with it on our own? General said, yep, of course, sir. Of course we can. So Trump said, all right, let's do it. And then 5 seconds later, boom, the dude is dead. But no thanks to Israel, right? We're supposed to be our ally, our main partner.
You know,
So
that's
why would they
funny.
pull
It's
out?
funny that they do that. It's funny that you're saying that they're our biggest ally. It's huge. It's gonna be huge. You
Right.
know why? Let me tell you why. He's not the biggest. They're not the biggest ally because
No.
ally, in the eyes of ally, it's not only the connection between cultures and democracy and political political cohesive. You know, when you come together, but you as an American, you walk out there, bro. Have you seen how these Jews are treating the American people when they
Oh
walk
my God.
in Israeli
Yeah.
soil?
Oh yeah, the
Wild.
Christians, yeah.
Yeah, they're
They
spitting
spit on
on them.
Christians.
This is weird, dog. Okay, wait, but we here protect the Jews, and we can't say the word Jew many times on
Right.
social media because then we get fucking cut and we get
Right.
dinged and we get outed. or suicided. Explain this to me. How is it? Seems like this is a one-way street, dog. Like, what the fuck,
That
dude?
shows you who's really in charge. Tell me who you can't criticize, and I'll tell you who's in power. Okay, that's what it is, and it's really that simple, right? And then
Holy
I don't want to
macaroni.
single them. It's not the Jews. It's the Kazakhstani mafia that
Yeah.
hides behind Jerusalem, right? So then they hide behind anti-Semitism, just like people hide behind your conspiracy theories. Oh, you can't even go there because of that, because of the Holocaust, because of this. So we're not allowed to ask questions now. We can't put dots together now because of something that bad happened way back then that had nothing to do with us. We're not allowed to ask these obvious questions. But that's how you know we're getting close. You know what I mean? And I know this shit looks crazy. And the reason why we knew this was coming is because it's pretty much laid out in the Q drops. I'm sorry, but it is. You know, and it says Israel is last, meaning this war, this is it. This is our last psyop war. If we make it out of this, there is so much light at the end of the tunnel, yo. And then the more I hear Trump speak, the more he knows it, the more obvious he's making it. Bro, we're getting so close. And now look, all of these Marxist, anti-American pieces of shit are on full display. Harvard University came out with a letter in support of Hamas. 30 groups in Harvard. Okay, NYU law, fucking professor over there came out in support of it.
Politicians at the Congress.
Black Lives Matter put out that fucking, they weren't just pro-Palestine, they were pro-terrorist attack that happened, gliding on they put up a paratrooper fucking logo like the Michael Jordan logo and then used that as a way to be like, yeah, this was dope. Like, what? So like,
where is BLM at, dog?
All of these things that we've been talking about, bro. And now look, they're on full display. They are on full display. Even some in the Democrat Party are not coming out in support of Israel,
putting out their freaking Palestinian flags out. Yeah, I hear you.
And that's fine. They can do that, but they're just exposing themselves. You know, it's interesting. What if 9/11 happened today? How many people would be pro hijackers? How many people in this country right now would be supportive of that event?
Today, you'll be surprised. Today, you'll be surprised how many people would walk out there and fucking celebrate in our own fucking streets that we built with our tax money. You know what? I'm going to tell you something, dog. It is absolute fucking horrifying to know that there's people that were born in this fucking country that didn't only get served by this fucking country, that only have people, like the grandparents on Social Security that are benefiting off of this fucking country and still say, I am not America first. Why wouldn't you want to be America first? This is not even nothing to do with Trump. Put Trump to the side for 5 seconds and only think about where you stand and everything. This is the reason why all these fucking people are trying to come in over this fucking border. Why all the people want to have babies here? Why all the people want to work here and create things here and fucking innovate here? Because here is where it's at. Around the fucking planet, the only country in world history that has ever fucking provided as many people. The way that this country has provided has been this fucking country. That's it. You could not say anything against that. There's not one time in fucking world history, in world written history, human world history, where the United States of America has not came through for its people. And you know what? It's not perfect, but it's more perfect than any other fucking country out there that's at war right now within itself. And the problem is, Today, dog, there's so many people talking shit about America and trying to put Palestinian for like how if you were pro-Palestinian, if you really want to be in Palestine, why didn't you fucking stay in Palestine or where you were born and of age? Go back to Palestine. Now you got the queers. You got a bunch of fucking gay lords pro-Palestine. Dude, do you know what they'll do to you in Palestine?
It's like chickens for KFC, right?
What the fuck?
Yeah, bro. See that's and like now they're on full. The rot of progressive ideology is on full display, bro. It really is now. And sometimes it does. Like we've been saying, it does have to get this bad to really expose it all. There was so much rot. This ideology is literally making them pro-terrorist because they just can't be pro-America in any way, you know. And now that is the side up though, is to pick a side, you know. And then then it's so hard to get past the fog of war and to get past the emotion and the outrage of everything that's happening.
We need to,
that we do, bro, because now, you know what I mean? Like on the surface, like, you know, like Trump is not going to get into it, but like, he's going to tell you stories like that though. right? Like the baby,
Makes you think.
Israel pulling out at the last minute to kill one of the greatest enemies because he's telling you without telling you, you know. So that's what. And then now, so Trump is only getting stronger now. Like every poll, 30% of Democrats now are going over because people are starting to get it that you don't have to like someone's personality for them to be good for the country. You cannot like someone, his face or his color of his skin or the way he talks or his whatever. That's we're talking about our country. Yo. We're not talking about a television show or the fucking or who's gonna win the Oscar this year. Do you know what I mean? Like we're really talking about someone who's not afraid to take on the establishment, to take on the lobbyists, to take on the special interests, take on the military industrial complex, to take on all of these things that no other person would even touch or talk about, or even if they did talk about, they would be called crazy. Like RFK Jr. He's cool to talk about it now too because Trump started this shit.
Thank you.
He started a movement, and it has to come from the people, right? So even when Trump is long gone, we have to carry that torch. You know what I mean? Because now we can really draw a contrast between the last 4 years and the prior 4 years before that, what this country was, how people were, what was going on around the world, all of these wars, literally every single thing they said that would happen under Trump is happening under Biden. Every single thing. Wars in the Middle East, North Korea talking shit, Russia invading Ukraine, inflation,
the collapse of the dollar,
all the collapse of the dollar,
the rise of the dragon,
shit, right? So that's why Trump had to take a step back. He had to let them do this. He really did, because there's just no other way. Just imagine if Trump did whatever, he stayed in power in 2020 somehow, and he got the military involved. Like we would be in a civil war right now. Do you understand? Like people, it would look fucking absolutely insane. But now it's gonna be like, it's not gonna look insane. It's just gonna look like justice.
He was right the entire fucking time.
100%.
We need to also be careful. Friday the 13th is tomorrow. This episode drops tonight. So you'll be listening to this episode tomorrow, hopefully in the AM. Stay away from open spaces in public areas. You never know. This is not just fear porn. This is just being more vigilant. Stay strapped. Keep that fucking, keep your shit locked in. Get ready to go and take care of your babies. I myself ain't taking my daughter to school tomorrow. We're gonna keep her at home. I'm gonna come to work. I'm a man. I'm cool. But my wife knows what's up. She knows she has protocol. That. We got bug out bags, and we're in California. So what can we expect? We're one of the most populated areas in the fucking planet. Yeah. California could be a fucking dead center attack, and we never know. So we got the cars filled with gas. We got the food. We got our shit together. Look, call me a conspiracy theorist and paranoid and fucking paranoid. That's what I am. I really am.
I'm ready.
I'm prepared.
We call you ready.
Ready for whatever the fuck happens. Just like I go on through my day, just because I have to provide for my family, I'm also ready to take that fucking gun and put it into your face. Now, Joe gets face is put to the terrorist's face. Ladies and gentlemen, on a walkthrough right here, we have to understand that even if the moment that you start picking sides, that's the fucking psyop, and that's a quote from Flash_News 1 directly. Don't pick sides. Look at the entire data. Look at the history of everything. And yeah, this doesn't justify the Hamas attacking people or even chopping up heads of people, of babies, even if it is true or not. I don't believe it. But if the things are happening for a fucking reason, there is no coincidences. There's only cause and effect, and this is a direct effect, a direct consequence of something that had happened before that they didn't get to report on because it's not benefit for their pockets or for their lifestyle. So, Flash, one last message out of your heart. Let them know where they can find you, big homie.
Just say, like, this is really the ultimate psyop right now, and it's a psy war, and it's really a war on our consciousness. They want us back into our reptilian thinking. We were getting too logical. We were putting things together too much. People were actually coming together about the border, the out of control.
Wow.
People were starting to agree on a lot of things, and they can't have that. And now this was a perfect way to just splinter everything all over again. And now it's hard right now. We're in the middle of it. Literally, the war is still going on. But I think we have a good enough foundation in our community that we're going to come together out of this again. And not only that, we're waking up a lot of fucking people on the way. A lot of people that never would have been woken up by what we talk about, but they're going to be woken up about what's going on in Israel, okay, and what's going on in our universities and the fucking $90,000 they're spending to send their kid there to learn to be pro-terrorist. You know what I mean? And I think there's so many levels to this shit, right? But really, we're dismantling it brick by brick, and now we're exposing the whole war machine. Now they're going to try and tie Ukraine funding with Israel funding so that they could just get them both, right? And now we're going to see who's who in the MAGA Republicans in Congress. We're going to see who's who now. Because everybody's in the light. There's no more running away from this. Everybody's in the spotlight. Trump's going to sit back. He's going to do what he does. But listen, there's so much light at the end of this tunnel, yo. I swear I feel it in my bones, yo. If we can get past this, we are on a timeline. We completely changed the timeline when Trump won in 2016. We're already on that time. We didn't come this far just to come this fucking far.
Word.
Yes, sir.
Make sure you check them out. Check them out on Flashy_News1 on Instagram. Flashy_News, the number 1 on Instagram. And if you can't find him because he is shadow banned for the moment, and if you have us as friends, check him out on paranoidradio.com. Paranoid Radio on Instagram. He is on my bio. Click, follow, like, comment, and hit him up on this fucking spot. Flashy_News1 came and fucking conquered on Israel. This is Paranoid Radio Podcast. Drop a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts if you enjoy the show. It ensures other people to enjoy the show as much as I enjoy making it with my homie Flash. Thank you so much, Flash.
Oh, bro. Hell yeah.
Paranoid Radio.